This episode of the Turf District podcast is brought to you by YEG Podfest, presented by Edmonton Community Foundation, in partnership with the Alberta Podcast Network and LitFest, Canada's non-fictional festival. Running October 1st through 3rd, YEG Podfest will be held all online this year, so anyone can tune in to experience it. Events include master classes with professional podcasters, obviously not us, panel discussions, feature interviews, and more. Some of APN's member shows will be there too, so join us for the virtual party from October 1st through 3rd. To check out the full lineup and get tickets, head to yegpodfest.ca. That's yegpodfest.ca. Enjoy the show.
Hey, fellas, we ain't gonna ever back down from nobody. I don't care who it is. This is a brotherhood. And if we stand strong together, we can't be denied. If one of us goes down, we have another, and another, and another that's ready to fight. So let's hit this field and bang them, bang them, bang them. Somebody, light me up.
It's time to huddle up. It's the Turf District Podcast. Welcome back to the Turf District, where we huddle up to talk all things Edmonton Elks and the CFL. And we are a part of the Alberta Podcast Network, locally grown, community supported. And we are also a part of the CFPN, the Canadian Football Podcast Network. I'm Andrew, and welcome back into the Turf District. I wish it was a lot more fun things that we had to talk about tonight, but we're still going to get together and chat football and talk all the things that are going on with our team. And, I guess the rule we try to live by is if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. So the pod might only be 5 minutes, but we'll see how long we get. So first, of course, joining us from Turf District West, it is the Jantler man himself. Superfan Mike. Beautiful.
Jazz Antlers, baby.
Yeah, so did you already send the message to Kamar Jordan for the fee for using the Jantlers?
I don't know. I'm going to have to give him something because, that stuff's copyright. I'm just saying.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Like, we copyrighted it early. I don't know why.
My lawyers. There we go.
You better get on the copyright law right now.
That's right.
That's what we've been waiting for.
Jantlers TM.
So Jantlers telegraphed Mike. What's the TM? No, I'm kidding. Okay. Yeah. All right. Guess who else is here, Mike?
Who else is here?
Making her triumphant return. It is the one and only Commissioner Kayla. How are you?
Wah, wah, wah.
Oh, no. We're very happy you're here. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm great. I mean, Saturday was a dread fest, but Sunday came and it was a new day.
Nice.
That's where the offense went.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the green and gold, they compared notes and went on the same playbook because they both just got stomped.
Yeah, both green and gold teams, north and south of the border, decided that offense was optional on the weekend.
Yeah.
So
South, I'm okay with 100%. Like, go to town.
And poor Joe Pritchard is upset again. Yeah.
The poor cheeseheads, eh?
Yeah, I can't please them all.
Yeah, that's very true. Kayla, tell us, how have you been? It's been like 3 weeks since we've chatted with you. You've gone out to the mountains. You've gone down to the Labor Day game. You actually got to watch a Labor Day game where we won, which is craziness. And you were at the game, of course, on Saturday, seeing the Dream Team and all of those types of things. So how's things going?
It's been a trying year for my family. But it's life. You just gotta persevere and stick around the ones who love you and you love, and you just get through life. But I mean, Labor Day, maybe that's why I'm not so upset about Saturday, because I was there on Labor Day and I would not trade it for anything, because winning on Labor Day is something spectacular. It was so much fun. It was so quiet there. And then they got their revenge, which is fine because, like I said, we won in McMahon. But yeah, it's always great seeing everyone from Calgary, and met some new Stamps fans on Saturday. They were sitting right across from us, and they were obnoxious and loud but fun. So we had good banter, and at the end of the day, we're all CFL fans, and you meet some new ones, and they just happened to be good fans. So it was fun. I mean, a bad outcome, but I mean, you win some, you lose some. Football's back. When you're a fan, you just got to go through it, just like life. So, it's football. It's not that serious for me. But I don't know. I can't complain. I just can't complain, guys. Football's back. Like, maybe I'm just a little airheaded, but.
Well, I'm looking behind you, and it looks like you're trying to relive Saturday for some reason. Is that not what that is? Or is that Monday night?
No, that's Ravens and Monday. Raiders.
Oh, all right then. Excellent.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell. I was like, wait a second. Is that? Okay.
No.
Superfan, tell us about the good part of the game. And by that, I mean the tailgate before the game started.
Well, that was implied. Yeah,
Okay,
that was a lot of fun getting to see everybody. It started off a little quiet. But it was kind of to be expected. We got there about 2:30, I guess, to set up. And by 3 o'clock, they started rolling in. And then once the Dream Team kind of showed up and Trio Grande, that started getting the festivities going. And, of course, it was Jedi's birthday, so it's always a special time. She's awesome. The one that gets to choose the meal. And, of course, this year, as always, it's tacos in a bag. So
good.
Yeah, we only brought 80 bags of Doritos. Normally in any other year, sometimes that doesn't quite last the year, but this time we did about half of it, so not too shabby, and a lot of happy faces. So, and then of course the cupcakes. I mean, come on, how do you go wrong with the cupcakes?
And adult Dunkaroos.
Oh, the adult Dunkaroos. They were adult Dunkaroos.
Oh yes.
I believe they're actually called Dinkaroos, are they not?
Dinkaroos, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah. No, it sounded. It was probably one of the hardest ones for me, actually, because of, just like you said, the Dream Team comes up, Trio Grande is there, and like, I miss those people so much, and the Return Classic is a big deal in our family, so it was it was tough for sure. On the other hand, we had young super family Thomas here, and he was a riot. And the best part of the evening might have been when he met Wilson, and Wilson decided that he was going to try to go through Thomas's legs because he thinks that's fun, and almost lifted him off the floor. And Thomas looked at me and he goes, "Wilson's trying to turn this into a rodeo," and I just killed myself laughing.
Well, you're in Alberta, right?
That kid's outstanding. I mean, if that's the case, we can do whatever we want as long as it's rodeo.
Right.
Yeah, we can do like, hey, cheers! This is fantastic. So we did have a good time, and.
Right.
The kids got to watch some shows, and we got to have a few laughs, and then I stood upstairs and sulked while they were downstairs watching shows, and it was great. So that's fine. It was quite the weekend of football. Before we get into breaking down our game, I do want to say thanks to both Rouge Radio and to Two and Out, because I've been doing the podcast circuit as of late, and you know what?
Yeah.
It's always fun to just chat and kind of play and talk football with those guys. And, with Rouge Daltz, I mean, I haven't been on with him in a while. And so, we got a couple of good laughs, and then going on with Travis and trying to do my best Thai impression was always a blast. So,
How
there was
accurate were you?
No. I really just stole his lines, but other than that,
good.
I mean, yeah, that's as close as I'm ever getting to be Thai.
You don't want to go full Brazilian Thai.
No, that's dangerous for most people.
There we go.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
No.
All right, let's talk about the game. As we know, and as we've alluded to, not the greatest game by the Elks for this year. Doubled up on by Calgary, 32-16. So let's. I don't know. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start bad or good? Mike, you can pick this time. Where do you want to start?
Oh, you know what? It's so hard to say. Sometimes you just want to rip the Band-Aid off as much as possible. So let's start with that.
Fair. Okay, let's go with the bad side then. Kayla, what stood out for you in this game?
For everything. I mean, this just felt like
I like that's bad timing for me to take a sip. Anyway, go
this
ahead.
felt like week 2 all over again. Just brutal. Like, oh, I mean, I hate when the crowd boos, but man alive, I can kind of concur too. It's just field goals for one. Okay, we lived through that. We can do it again. But oh my goodness, that offense just could not get anything going. It just looked like a complete fall apart. Like, is this a team? Did they practice? Do they even talk? Do they communicate? Like, what is going on? I'm so confused. That team from one day did not show up. I'm not sure if they left them in Calgary and swapped notes. Like, I don't know. But it was so lackluster. It felt like, I mean, the defense did what they could, but even them, like the backfield and the DBs are kind of blowing a lot of coverage too. And it felt really slow and unmotivated. And maybe I'm wrong, but I didn't see much blitzing. Maybe I'm wrong, but it felt very conservative, very boring. The pressure was not really there. I mean, I think Calgary was its own worst enemy, and they still won. So, yeah, it was just everything. Like, that game was just a mess.
That's fair. Superfan, I'll let you build off of that.
Yeah, I was going to say that really sums it up so well. I've got a couple of things, and I actually have one that's sort of a bad, that's a positive, and anyway, we'll get into that.
Okay.
Penalties were terrible.
Absolutely.
But I mean, for both sides, right?
Yeah,
Calgary
both sides.
had 12 penalties for 110 yards. We had 12 for 125.
Yeah.
Both bad, but we just seem to have them at the absolute worst time. But
yeah,
the biggest
you
one
finally
were
get a play.
4 15-yard, no-yard penalties on special teams. And as I texted you, you're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
It's
my
like,
goodness.
dude.
Like, the new guy and everything else, but let it hit the ground and it's only 5 yards. But yeah, anyway, that was pretty tough. But for me, one of the positives that was sort of negative is that Wilder and Fletcher combined had 13 carries, but a 6.0 yards per carry average. Why did they not see the ball more?
I don't understand. I wish I could tell you that was my WTF for this week. Is you have a 6-yard average, and your offensive line, although some were cover sacks, I will say that there was a couple of times where Trevor hung onto the ball and couldn't get it downfield and then got sacked. But there was at least 4 of those 7 sacks in the end?
7 sacks.
Calgary's had no sacks the entire year. They get 7. Like, if that's the case, then you know that D-line is pinning their ears back. Hand it off or dump it or screen
Or
it
screens,
or something.
yeah.
Like, to me, it was mind boggling. And then when you look at the stats after and you see that 6-yard average, why are we not taking advantage of that? I don't understand.
I mean, I'm always calling for more runs anyway, but it's hard to argue with those kind of numbers. At a 6 average, just hand the ball off. You will always get a first down. I mean, obviously the law of averages is going to balance out, but at the same time, Wilder has proven this year he's got some magnificent running capabilities. Mm-hmm. And Fletcher has been no slouch himself. I mean, he had an 8 yards per carry average on his 2 carries for 16 yards.
Yeah. Wow.
Why is he what does he need to do to earn more playing time?
Yeah, I agree. And I think in this game, I hate to say this because I really like Coach Elizondo, but it's like it was like the veteran coach going against the rookie coach, right? Like it was just, so like interesting choices all around and just not sparking the team.
But he's not a rookie offensive coordinator. I mean, he's the one calling the plays and has been calling them for years.
That's fair.
I wonder if he just outsmarted himself. I don't know.
Or maybe they were just clinging to how much they could go to the passing game on Monday and thinking, well, this we got to be able to do that again.
Mm-hmm. But that's
maybe problem. That's what. Because
they went to it so much last game, and they were doing play action and just not running the ball. Which you're like, we don't have to bite on the play action because they're going to be faking it, and then, like you say, pin your ears back and go. I didn't understand it, but Deontay Wesley had probably the worst game at left tackle we've seen in a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know how much that was on him, but there were 7 sacks, 3 by Banks and 3 by Sean Lemon.
Yeah, like put an extra guy. Why isn't Tuck out there more than just to kind of?
Well,
right?
Only one fullback, and he's also doing special teams, right?
Right,
so.
But you gotta. Yeah. Oh, that was so. It was very painful to watch.
You need some more wilder WWE action going on.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that tends to fire them up a bit. That would have been a lot better. I want to ask this question before we move away from the bad. Commonwealth. I don't get it. It used to be the scariest place to play.
The Boneyard.
And now we're 0-3. We have the new name launch. It's here. We're going to where football is back, and 3 performances now at Commonwealth that were less than stellar. Let's put it that way. So, how do they fix the Commonwealth issue? Because that's the part that brings more. You want to go and watch the game where your team plays well.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kayla, you were saying you got to watch them in Calgary, and it was just like that made the whole weekend, right? And you don't even care that they lost in the rematch because it was so good to watch them play live and win. And we've had 3 now where we're just
But it gets to the point where there's losing, and then there's losing without really trying anything. Lackluster. It just felt so disorientated and not even a team. And when at least that first game against the Redblacks, it was so close that you're just like, oh man, like at least I was entertained with that last play where we came so close to winning. But week 2 in this game, it's the same thing. It was just, oh my gosh, just get your act together. Like, what even are you? You're not a team, that's for sure. So I don't know if it's just pressure to perform at home with the whole like name change, and like there's so much going against this team, and then all the COVID stuff, and it's like maybe it's just too much and they can't get their locker room together and get united. I don't know. I'm not in there, and we haven't been able to talk to anybody, so who knows?
That's fair. Is pressure to perform? Is that the title of the podcast?
I don't know, but it sounded like it might have been. Words is hard.
I was gonna. Words is hard. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I need more cider. You carry on, Mike. What else did you find that was decent?
We're sort of getting it. We're decent, or are we still on the What the Fire Trucker?
What the Fire Trucker? Then we'll move on. Yeah.
Yeah. So the biggest one is 20 seconds left in the game. We have a fumble that leads to a touchdown. If we would have not just like punted it away or thrown a bomb to, try and get a pass interference or something, then we own the season series, because we would be tied and we would have been ahead by 3 points. Now we're behind by 3 points. We're not seeing Calgary again. So they have the season series. So if we end up tied, they're ahead of us. That is just... Yeah. And the other thing I noticed was that, we had 10 punts in this game. Somebody on, Go Elks, or elksherd.ca was posting that it's 41% of our drives are 2 and outs at home this
41.
season. 41%.
Oh,
that is
man.
Massive. We average 4 punts per game on the road, 8.3 at home.
Unreal.
Absolutely. How often do you see like 18 punts in a game between 2 teams? Like that just tells you that neither team necessarily is doing great when they have 8 and we have 10. But wow, they're putting the foot back in football, or I don't know what it is. But and the thing about punting is their net average was 44.1 yards. Ours is 38. So with 10, that's 6 yards difference. So with 10 punts, we gave them 60 more yards than we had. That's
crazy. And they're punting 44, and our return game was that was net. Oh, okay. Net. I was going to say, because our return game was catch and fall down, which is basically what we're used to at this point.
We need taller people. Gets the ball.
If he could catch, I was just going to say.
Who's going to stop him?
Really? I mean...
Dig up that diamond fairy tackle that he had years ago on that interception. Believe me, no one's
more entertaining. I agree. We need more. Yeah, let Mike Moore catch it and start running. Go.
Also try
ahead.
Something.
Try and tackle him.
Yeah.
What? How could it be any worse?
Yeah.
Like, I'm guessing we get at least a 5-yard more average because he could carry people.
Can he catch the ball and hold on to it? That's all we care about.
Actually, yeah, I guess we should probably talk about that too with our defense, because how many push-ups? At least 3 that I can think of that would have been massive game changers.
Yeah, that Jonathan Rose one, the first one, that was like it hit him right in the hands.
The worst spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I don't. Okay, let's switch gears to some good, because
Yes.
I don't want to get too far away on the defense, because in my mind they were the phase of the team that showed up, and we finally get the turnover, and not only is it a turnover, but it's a turnover for a pick six. Tremaine Washington, not even close. He is the player of the game.
100%.
Like it. There shouldn't even be a discussion. Don't even put anybody else on the board. Just put him up.
The only other person that could be is Sean White. I mean, he did everything he was asked to do, right? So
that's fair. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he was just his good self. Tremaine Washington was above and beyond. And I think the most important thing is that next week we may have Derek Moncrief back at Sam linebacker. So at this point, up until this game, Tremaine Washington may have been on the bubble to get replaced by Brian Walker, who might have gone back from his Sam spot to the defensive half spot. I don't think it's going to happen now.
No, I don't think so.
Even my mom knew that he was amazing. He played well.
Yep.
She's like, oh, that number 8 guy was all over the place.
He sure was.
Can you please do the Mama Jedi impression every show? That was amazing. I love that. Yeah, that was very good.
And don't forget, Washington also had a forced fumble.
That's true. Yes.
So, I mean, so he has a pick six and a forced fumble. That's pretty impressive.
He had a great night. He had a great, and the other one where he got around to Bo and basically could have caused the fumble, but then Bo moved his arm forward. Like that was, so he could have had another one, and that would have been a huge turnover, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, to me, that's the positive. He had a monster game. So, Kayla, did you have any other positives that you found in this one? That was a good snort.
No, not that I can think of. Other than like I had fun and it was a good
good.
time.
Yeah.
The game, no. Heavens, no.
Okay. Super fan.
Yeah, I've got a few other spots. I mean, Niles Morgan, I thought had some spots for sure. He had the only sack of the night. Mm-hmm. He had 2 defensive tackles and a special teams tackle as well, so that kind of helped. Hugh O'Neill's kickoffs were better. He had a 62-yard average. But the defense as a whole, like you talked about it off the top, they had 10 pass knockdowns in this game. Like that's huge. Plus the interception and 2 forced fumbles, one of them to Tremaine Washington. And that's just only going to get better once Moncrief is in the lineup. So I think complained a lot about the secondary 8 last season. And I think this season it's shown it has definitely improved when the guys are on the field.
That brings up a question for me. What happens with Brian Walker then? Now,
I don't know. Is he going to back up?
Because he was on the 1 game injured, was he not, for this last game?
Right.
So we'll have to see where that turns out. But
yes,
he's also a great player. No, I don't want to take it. Like Moncrief is playing amazing, and we know that.
And he's an all-star. He's an all-Canadian player.
Absolutely. But you don't want to take, it's hard to take Walker off the field when you know how good he played too, right? So it should be interesting. And I thought Walker played a big role in the Labor Day game.
Yep.
So it should be, it'll be an interesting week to when we watch the injury reports and how things kind of pan out before we have to play Winnipeg. We'll
no.
Could go either way.
Sure. Yeah.
I think our defense is going to be one of the tougher ones they face or have faced so far, and they are vulnerable for sure. We've seen them lose.
Sure.
I mean, not much, but we have seen them lose. So we'll talk about that more on the what does this team have to do to win the game. But I mean, people said that we couldn't win the Labor Day game, and Kaylee was there. She saw it with her own eyes.
Yeah, that's
It was
very
great.
Okay, again, finally it's good. It's a video podcast. That's wonderful. Superfan, tell us some YouTube delight, and what do we have going on that we need to answer for or talk about?
Well, let's scroll back. There's a lot of chatter going
That's
on.
weird.
I got to tell you, we love it. From one of our favorite Argos fans out there. Everyone should check out their podcast for sure. He says, "You three are braver than us on the Fancast to film your show." So I said,
well, that was nice of him.
You should give it a shot for sure. And he does say that the referee on Sunday looked like he was 12.
That's fair.
Yeah, and I think he was the same guy that replaced Al Bradbury when Bradbury went down. So, yeah, that was such a great game for us that way. But what are you going to do? Coach Vic says that he is sorry he did miss the tailgate. He had a late game in Sullivan and had to race to get to the second quarter, but he did make it to west of us, which was fantastic to see him there. So, always great when we can get together with our football family. So, what else we got? Patrick B. Penguin says, not going to lie, I hate the triple headers, would rather spread the wealth. And then he says, you know what? Let's just not talk about the game. Let's try that.
Let's try that. Yeah, let's try. Well, maybe one of these. We'll see what happens next week. Actually, Kayla, we didn't get to ask you that last week. What do you think of the triple headers?
A whole day of football? I'm not going to complain. It's a little bit more fun when you're the last game, because when you're at the tailgate, if you go, you can watch the game at home and then you're at the tailgate watching the game and then it's your game.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I like them. I like a whole weekend of football. Sure. Yep. Okay. I'm good.
Okay.
And I mean, I'd rather not compete on Thursdays with the NFL. So
I can see that. I like what we have this week, where we've got the two doubleheaders back to back nights. Like I like that. I'm not totally against a triple header, but that was a long day, and again, having kids, I had to have the first game just on the radio while we were out at the park, right? So yeah, exactly, because they're not going to sit and watch 9 hours of football as much as I'd love them to.
What?
My perspective is so different. I don't have kids, right? Exactly. So I can do whatever I want.
Nachos in bed. Yeah. But yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
But I think that I don't disagree with Penguin. I'd be okay if they did two doubleheaders like they are this week.
Yeah. Right. I was mentioning when we were talking about ugly, and we were on the bad. He just has special teams. I'm like, I know I hate to sound like a broken record on that, but not so special teams. Leanne actually had tweeted while we were just starting up. She asked Jed Roberts specifically, what can we do to improve on special teams? And Jed, in his very blunt and the only way that Jed can, said, this requires everyone busting their asses to the echo of the whistle in an effort to make their blocks, and a returner with enough courage to run north-south. The Elks have neither.
Oh, well, that is...
if
he knows
anyone's
special
going to
teams.
know special teams, and more than just, popping up with your arms up every time there's a tackle.
Although James Tuck is very good at that.
He is very good at it, and, at some tackles. Speaking of Leanne, she did post, what went wrong in the game? How many ways are there to say they bed? I think we've had a few.
Yeah.
A few different ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I did toss around the idea of titling this podcast Home Cooked Sandwich. So,
That's true.
It's pretty much kind of
Return of the fire trucker. Fantastic.
Oh, hey, we don't have enough of that.
That's true. Back to Will Gertler. Nobody has anything on my Vikings for penalties. So you can feel his pain as a Vikings fan. So Ken Lutwig said they had a good first quarter, but then fell asleep afterwards. And then talking about the running game, how about a running play or a delayed draw?
Absolutely,
you know what I mean?
Be perfect.
When they're pinning their ears back and they're coming to the quarterback and you hand it off, That would be a real good way to take advantage of that and might make them sit back a bit on their heels if knowing that's a possibility.
Absolutely.
And Will Gertler agrees, take advantage of Wilder out of the backfield. Coach Vic says that Coach Elizondo said he was not happy with the way he called the game afterwards, and that's great. But what are they going to do for the next game? I'd like to find out for sure.
I'd actually like to throw one thing in there because Coach Elizondo did say too, you don't like to hear the boos, but we deserved it. And you know what? I like the fact that there's at least maybe a bit of accountability, and I don't like booing the team. Like that's not my jam, but I will definitely like. I sit in silence,
silently judging you.
Disappointed face. If I can do Kayla's favorite GIF, like.
Oh, that's a good one.
Like that's
You bet.
Sorry,
Ken Ludwig again. Perhaps Elizondo is overwhelmed with all the things that come with being a head coach. I mean, this is his first head coaching. So unusual for the Edmonton team to have a first-time head coach as their head coach. Other than Scott Miladovich, who didn't coach a game, every coach we've had since 2001 has been a first-time head coach. So we're always great at breaking them in.
Although can we say that it was kind of nice to watch Saskatchewan rack up a ton of penalties?
Well, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, except for the unfairness of that game, but we can get into that later. Yeah.
Right. What else we got? Leanne says that we need to send someone to Sage Commonwealth. Point.
I'm excited for somebody to do that.
Yes, exactly. What else we got? We need some more Wilder big deep balls. Just saying. That's Coach Vic. So there's the
title of the podcast.
Exactly.
In agreement.
Yeah. Oh, Coach Vic is feeling a little bearish on the team. Says he kind of thinks we are not going to see a win at Commonwealth for at least a few more weeks. That's entirely possible.
Kind of hard to argue at this moment. Yeah.
Right. Ken's asking how much do we want to bet whether or not Williams is back in the lineup this week with Derek Moncrief coming in and possibly Brian Walker being healthy enough to go. I don't see how he fits unless someone else is suddenly in the one game.
I don't see that either. It's starting to become, 23 all over again, but it's 29. Anyway.
Exactly.
Longtime fans of the show will know what I'm talking
Andrew.
about. Yeah.
Coach Vic says that Kayla's mom impression is spot on. It's just like her mom.
Thanks.
It does.
Yeah,
That's a compliment.
It's hard to argue. They're a positive from Ken Ludwig. The Stamps only had around 25 yards of offense in the first quarter. I mean, the first quarter I thought was solid defensively for sure. It's just we couldn't seem to get much moving either. So.
Well, I mean, when you're always on the field, you get exhausted.
Yeah, it's true.
That's what happened in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you could just see it.
They got tired. Yeah. Tired and frustrated because they're no support, right?
Yeah. Well, I would say even starting after the half, like they're just like, come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was very close still at halftime. I mean, it would be nice if we could have the lead going in, but what are you going to do? Coach Vic says that Calgary lost the Labor Day game because of repeated drop passes. Elks lost this week because of defensive drop passes, so it evened out. Did it?
No, I think we lost this week because of sacks and timing.
Just losing the line of trenches, the trenches, right? If you're losing the trenches, both offensively and defensively, then it's tough. Though, I mean, we had some good pressure defensively, but certainly on our offensive line, we lost big time to their defensive line. So you have to give their defensive line credit. I think they played a hell of a game.
Banks was amazing.
Banks and Lemon. Yeah. Lemon came in with some, evil thoughts on his mind, having been with the club, up until not too long ago. So that was
Are
tough.
You saying that Lemon is a certain kind of personality?
Certain kind of personality.
Perfect.
A bit sour.
Yeah,
a little bit.
That scores for dad joke points. Well done. Well done.
Nice.
Learn from the best.
Tim Capper, speaking of another one whose podcast you should be listening, Steve Daniel would have a few choice bad words about triple headers. I can imagine this pretty tough tracking everything over a 9-hour game. So
Yeah, very true. At least that last one, the stats were kind of easy.
oh yeah, that's true. Just a couple more here. Chris Agar, to paraphrase Coach Riggs from Necessary Roughness, I've seen monkey fights Zoom organized in this offense.
Yeah.
Do you argue?
No. Not
No.
really. No.
And last goes to Ken Ludwig again. The Elks had the time of possession advantage after one quarter and fell to -7 by the end of the game.
Wow.
Oh man.
A lot, right?
Well, what did you say? How many 2-and-outs was that again? Did you say?
Well, I said it was 41% of every home game combined this season.
Oh, right.
That was courtesy of Bone. I think he might be Bone Jr. Bone Jr. on Twitter. Yeah.
Wow. That's, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, we should probably move on to something that's a little more fun. But I'm glad that we got some laughs out of that with the YouTube comments, etc.
Absolutely.
So, Superfan, you got some Horde items for us this evening?
Yeah, I've got a couple, actually, and then I was asked a question previously that'll sort of tie in. So let's start with, obviously, as Edmonton fans, we all know about the Decade of Excellence, which was the 1970s. From 73 to 82, we went to the Grey Cup 9 times in 10 years, finishing in first place in the West all 9 of those years, and in the West Final, all 10. So when we had the 2010 70s retro games, it was kind of a nice chance for us to sort of relive that memories, especially during a time when we weren't winning a whole lot in the present. So I thought I'd get a few of the items from the 2010 season.
Nice.
First up, hopefully that should work. So first up, we have hopefully you can see that.
Ooh, fancy.
So this is a 2010 70s retro helmet. This was Joe McGrath's helmet.
Nice.
I can see number 63 there.
Yep.
Hopefully you can see that. Which I thought was kind of interesting because we didn't wear white face masks in the 70s. That was in the 80s. But, you know, what are you going to do, right? They still they have a pretty basic look to them. I love the return of the white masks anyway. I just think it's more of an 80s retro, but, you know, I know. And to go along with the helmets, I thought this might be a nice little addition as well.
Oh,
So,
nice.
This is Jason Goss game worn jersey from the same decade. Again, we didn't wear the 3 stripes until the 80s, so we would have had normally just 2 white stripes and 2 yellow stripes. So this is again more of an 80s retro, but whatever. We were pretty good in the 80s,
Yeah,
too, right?
Yeah, we did all right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had mentioned to Tim Capper earlier. He'd asked if I was doing any. I said yes, and he said, "Can I ask a question?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely." And what am I going to say? No. And
Well,
so
you
he
might.
said-
You never know.
You never know. So he said, "Okay, so what is your favorite item in all of this stuff behind me? And what would be your next white whale that you want to track down?"
Ooh.
So, I mean, both hard questions.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to say, I mean, usually when people ask me my favorite, I'll give them like 5 or 6 items. It's like, this is not an essay question. But if I had to pick, you put a gun to my head and said, what's your favorite item? I would say it's probably going to be in this box here.
Ah, yes.
So you can see this is a Spalding rugby ball J5V from 1954. And inside is, and I've shown this before, but I have no problem showing it again and again and again.
Yes.
1954 team signed ball by the entire 1954 team in the locker room minutes after winning their first Grey Cup, the team's first Grey Cup in 54. So this was 10 minutes after Jackie Parker's famous fumble return for 90 yards for that touchdown. So, I mean, I don't know if you can see some of the names on there.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, it's amazing.
Wally Miles is on there. Normie Kwong is on there.
Jack
Obviously,
Parker,
Jack
you can see.
Parker. Bernie Filoni, who was our quarterback for that single year. I think there's only 3 names of players that were on the team, or at least at that game, that aren't on that list. And of course, they're all gone now, so I can't quite get them to sign it. But I don't know how I could really top that for sure, because that's just one of those things that'll come that once in your lifetime, and if you don't get it, you're never going to see it again. So that's got to be number one for sure.
I agree. Holy man, that's amazing. I know you've brought it before and
Yeah.
shown us, but it still blows my mind every time I see it.
Yeah, it blows my mind every time I see it. As for, white whale, God, there's so many. I mean, I could pick about a dozen things that I'd love to get next. I don't know. I always tell people that sometimes my favorite item is whatever the next one is.
That's a good one. Yeah.
But if I'm going to have a what you actually have to get next, it's probably going to be apparently now 2 helmets from this season for the cases. Now that we have a second helmet to track down.
Let's talk about that for a second. What did you guys think of the helmets with the full logo on the side instead of just the antler? Kayla.
I loved it. It was like the first thing I noticed. It's like, that's a new helmet, and that looks so sharp. I really liked it.
Awesome. Super fan.
I mean, I thought it was great. I mean, my first thought is, oh, come on. It's less if it wasn't expensive enough at the locker room sale. No, I thought it was very cool. I thought that it really created a lot of buzz when they started talking about it on Twitter. As I was trying to get into the stadium after shutting down tailgate, I had about 5 different people messaging me, have you seen the helmets? I'm like, oh no, what have they done? And then I saw them. At first they said they had the logo on there, and I was thinking in my head they went back with the EE logo, but with the new stylized EEs. I thought, that's pretty cool. And then I saw it and I'm like, come on, guys, seriously. I thought they look great. I think it's going to be really attractive to a younger crowd as well. I noticed a lot of kids, I mean, they love that logo. It's just such a thing that you can use in so many different ways. So I think that's great that they put it on there, and it looked pretty sharp.
Yeah, I liked it. I think I might have even liked it, and I know this might be sacrilege, but I might have even liked it better if the inside of it was filled white, just to make it pop up a little more, because that's the only thing that I noticed is just when even watching on TV, it blended in a whole lot, and so it was kind of hard to see the logo unless you were really paying attention. Right. And live it might be different, but no. But no. Okay. So
really, I noticed it right away. I don't notice things.
I don't.
But I got old eyes, right? So
yeah.
Fair.
So
I'm just like, what are they wearing? Huh?
So that's why nice. But I just think if they had the white in there, I think it might have just made it pop. Right? You have
show the logo on your wall.
Yeah. Oh, I should show. Yeah, I don't know if I've shown that off yet. Here we go. Ta-da! Look at that.
That would look sharp.
Like, and you could have the gold part could be white,
just clear, yeah,
or clear. But you could even make that white, and then you have the gold helmet, and then you've got the logo, and then you've got just the rest of it is white to make it kind of jump out. And I think that would be amazing. So that was, if I was, I mean, I'm picking nits, and I understand that, but that would be. Good Lord, this camera's not great. Okay. Will's like, we already have to see you. I don't need to see your arm up close. Yeah. So it's, that was my only, if I had one little thing that I think it might just make it look a little sharper, is just to have that white in there, but it did look cool. I'm not going to deny that.
And who knows, that'll be next year.
Yeah. Well, like you said, that's an expensive locker room sale. That's what that is right there.
I'm hoping they bring the EE out for at least one game. Just a little bit of a retro night or something.
Oh, a third helmet in 1 year? You're
killing
me.
That's all right.
No,
there's a lot that's killing us.
I was gonna say that's the guy on cover team. That's so sad still. Okay, let's stop talking about that game.
Yeah, sorry.
Let's move on to something just as exciting when we talk about next week's game. Because
it's been fun. Good night, all.
That's right. Yeah. So next week we line up against the best team in the league right now. First of 3 out of 4 games that we play Winnipeg over the next little bit. Oh my! 3 times we have to play the same team, and they're at the peak of their well playing. That's my excellent English. Did you appreciate that?
Yep.
You're welcome.
Words is hard.
Yeah, words is hard. So 8 p.m. start. Well, 7:45 start, so there'll be a little bit of crossover, I guess, between the two games. We're the late game of the doubleheader. Let's talk about well, I guess there's some rules that we could line up for this one. The first rule is don't start a fight, as you will lose players and the Bombers won't, because we don't want to have that, right? Because they're allowed to throw people to the ground and not get a penalty. Or kicked out of the game. That's perfectly fine. Second rule, watch out for the uprights.
Most outstanding crossbar.
Correct. Yes. If you're going to be, playing the Bombers, that's pretty important. Let's talk about what they really need to do. Mike, we'll start with you this time. Let's talk about how this game goes down and what do the Elks have to do?
Is this the part where I insert everything I've talked about in every game so far?
Probably.
Yeah.
I know your main point, so I'm just lobbing it up here for you.
Just lobbing the softball up to mix metaphors. I don't know how you can have 6 yards of carry and not be just running the ball down their throat.
Correct.
I don't understand. I know it's tough to get to the quarterback on defense when he throws the ball so quickly, and they've got some pretty solid offensive linemen there. And let's be honest, their defensive line is no slouch either. So you just have to find a way to win it in the trenches. I don't know what they're going to do on that offensive line. If Sir Vincent is ready, do you pull him off early? At this point, we've been hearing everyone is spending up to the cap floor. So if that's the case, pull him off.
Right.
Get him out there as early as you can if he is healthy, because we need all the help we can get. Why is Saxelid moved in, move him back out to left tackle? He did great there, I thought. So
yeah,
there's a bunch. There's some...
I think that's because Cardilla, is that how you say it?
Yeah, Jack Cardilla.
Yeah, I think if he didn't have the back issue, I think he would be playing guard and Saxelid would be playing tackle. I think that's... Yeah. Oh, did he? Oh, okay. So
sidelines.
Well,
number 60. But I mean, he's
getting closer.
He's a raw
right?
Rook, and Saxelid is so you'd have your entire left side as someone who have 1 year combined experience.
Yes,
a little scary, right?
Little to say the least. Yeah. So, yeah, I think there's definitely some points there. Kayla, what are you thinking about for this game?
I know something that I can do, if they'll let me, is go into the end zone and have big arrows and say, this is where you need to go, right here. Get to this point, please.
They can just get those guys with the little runway lights, guide them in.
I can just see Kayla standing in the end zone, right here.
Yelling.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yep. Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the exact opposite of what we said were the bads. Just don't do those. Don't do those, and you'll be all right.
Okay.
But maybe, find a way to make adjustments. Like Elizondo said, they didn't, and he took accountability. But when you're going against the best in the West right now, we're playing them 3 out of the 4 games next. Don't use the same stuff repetitively when they're failing. And even when they're succeeding, you got to mix it up, because good defenses will make those adjustments and know exactly how to read those plays. So, I don't know, better communication by far. Get a little bit more creative. Don't be so conservative on your playbooks, and protect the quarterback, please.
Yeah, I think I think the big things, and Mike, you already mentioned it. We already know that a couple of teams have run the ball on Winnipeg this year.
Yes.
I mean, William Powell last week in the first half was having a game, and
yep.
Their defensive line, they want to come after that quarterback. So
right,
start doing the dump, start using
Make
the run
them
ball.
Pay.
Exactly. And James Wilder Jr., we're waiting for that big. He has the 1 touchdown, I believe, just the one so far.
Yeah.
This could be that. Remember that game, Mike, you said, where he runs for 200 yards. This is that might be the game.
Maybe.
Or at least shake it up enough so that if you
break that record.
Oh, I'm okay with that.
Hey, it's the
what is the record?
225 yards in 1999.
Oh,
ooh,
my,
beautiful.
Was that Pringle?
Yeah, no, Pringle wasn't until 2000. He was here in 92, and then he was here in 2003 and 4.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. My brain's gone blank.
I know who you're talking about. Eric Blunt, wasn't it?
Thunder and Lightning. Was that?
Eric, was it Blunt? No. Oh, you're talking like league-wide or just Edmonton?
Oh, in Edmonton.
Really? Why do I not remember this?
Give me a second. It'll come to me. I'm sure someone will already have it on there.
Yeah, probably.
Someone's going to tell us on the Sean Millington. Millington.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, 225 yards in one game, and that was one game that isn't broadcast, so I don't have it. So.
Oh man. Okay. Well, I'd be okay if you had a game like that, or at least make it so that when you do play action, they might actually believe you.
Right.
Like you use the run a bit. I'm curious to see now if Ernest Edwards is going to have another full week of running, practice on special teams for doing the returns. Do we think that helps? Do we get a return? I don't know. How about Ernest Edwards catches it and then hands it off to Matt O'Donnell and Matt O'Donnell runs? How about that?
If everybody else can actually block, maybe.
Like just change it up for fun. See what happens. Yeah. I don't know.
Get a certain kind of personality on special teams.
Correct. That is exactly what we need. Where's Jed when we need him? It'll be a very interesting game. So the tailgate opens at 5 Superfan?
5:30ish, yeah.
Okay. And what's on the menu for this week?
Oh, this week it is pulled pork on a bun, and that's pulled pork made with some Dr. Pepper for some sweetness, some barbecue sauce. One of Jedi's specialties. It is delish.
Wow, that could be the best part of the game. So get there early.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. Let's go through any other YouTube stuff before we do our pick'ems this week, Superfan.
Sure. Let's take a quick look here. Zoom back a bit. So going back over the 70s retro, Will Gertler says, at least the Eskimos' 70s retros could actually be tracked to something they did wear. Nobody is certain to this day what the Argos' 70s retro were ever worn by the team. So Tim Capper then asks, so ladies and gents, thoughts on the Elks and alternate helmets this week? TD or fumble,
Absolutely.
And I think we all agreed it was a touchdown for sure. Maybe not the 2-point convert. If they would have added the white in there, I think that would have been the 8-pointer for sure. Tim does say that now Andrew and Mike have 2 helmets to get this off season, which we have covered. Locker room sale. Tim does agree that they should run the full color helmet logo. Chris Agar loves the new helmets. Everyone Capper is predicting the Elks will go 1-2 versus Winnipeg. So
hey,
we're getting a win.
That's the better record than I was thinking earlier. So yeah.
Yeah. Then Ken was saying, was it something to see on that rider? Yeah, that was something pulling off the helmet.
Yeah.
And somehow not get ejected.
Correct. Wow.
Don't understand that one myself, but
again, I think it's. Yeah, well, the player that gets away with everything. That's the thing.
Yeah, Will Gertler talking about what the Elks can do to win. Argos had 100-plus yard rushers in both games against Winnipeg. So, again, they are definitely vulnerable there. So, I think you need to hit them there. So,
I agree.
And yeah, that's about it. Will Gertler did bring up one of my personal favorites when we were talking about the longest run history, Troy Mills. Troy was here at the time, but it was Sean Millington that had the record. But yeah, I mean, I've got a Troy Mills fan jersey, so absolutely loved him when he was on the team.
Absolutely. All right, let's get through our pick'ems. We got some really fun ones to pick this week, actually. I think there's going to be a lot of good battles. And then one that, But Calgary versus Hamilton kicks everything off on Friday Night Football at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. This one is in Hamilton. Commissioner Kayla, are we calling the Holy Mazzoli? Because he is coming back in, maybe?
Yes, sir. Well, I mean...
Maybe?
Well, Dane is hurt on the 6th game, so...
No, I know,
but... then they just brought in a Canadian quarterback.
Well, but
as well. So are they going to start Mazzoli? Are they sure about that?
Kelly.
They don't know because Watford was taking first-team reps today.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
I can't
what do you think,
say Calgary even if I believed it, so I have to go with Mazzoli. I made an oath at the beginning of the season. Oh,
You did. That's true. Yep, it's good to
Right?
stick to your guns. I like that.
Well, Will Gertler
Super
does say,
fan?
"Go Calgary." Spoken like a true Argos fan.
Yes.
To hear anyone against Hamilton, I think Calgary played terribly in this game, and had they been playing most any other team other than us in Ottawa, I don't think they win this game. We just seem to be like, no, please, it's your turn. So, that being said, though, I think that's another week with Bo behind center. They are going to get better. Their lines are doing great, and if we don't even know who the quarterback's going to be, and I really like Dane a lot, but I think it might be Calgary taking this one in Hamilton.
Interesting. If it was in Calgary, I would take Calgary for sure, and only because of the things you said. I'm taking Calgary anyway, but whatever.
Yeah.
Boo hiss. Boo hiss. Toronto versus Saskatchewan is the late game on Friday, and that one is back in the rectangle. It's like they never leave. The end of the season, they're going to have a lot of away games, I'm guessing. So
That's fair.
so let's start with that one. Superfan, is it time for Harkamania? Is Fajardo back? What's going on, and who's going to pull out the win?
I don't know if Fajardo's going to be back. It's hard to say. He's going through concussion protocol. So at this point, do you want to risk something on your quarterback for a single game and possibly risk the season? I wouldn't. That being said, I think Toronto is coming on. They might have a new defensive assistant or coordinator even coming in to Ontario. I don't know. I can't remember his name. It's something. Something very complex.
That is a boo hiss.
But I know that Rich Stubler will be calling the defense this game, and I've always been huge on Rich Stubler as a defensive coordinator. So I think the Double Blue are going to come away with a win.
I'm right with you, actually. I'm going Argos on this game. Their defense that last game played stellar.
It's been strong.
And I mean, I understand if it wasn't for a flying upright, then that would have gone probably to overtime. It would have been an even more interesting game. But I thought Toronto's defense especially that first half, they just dominated, and they have the pieces to do it. So, and that was one of the things we saw Saskatchewan go up against Winnipeg that has a very good defense as well, and it just didn't pan out the same way. So, I think regardless of whoever is in at quarterback, I think I'm going to give this one to the Double Blue and see how that goes. Although the Saskatchewan home field advantage does actually usually mean home field advantage. We don't understand what that means, but they do.
Tell that to Winnipeg.
That's fair. They did get, so all right, I'm still going Toronto. Okay, Kayla.
Clap for the Wolfman.
That's, I love it.
And Winnipeg is just a better team. So,
well,
I said it.
Yeah, that's well done. I don't want to really get that excited about it because of who we're playing this week, but still. Yeah.
As much as I'd like to pick Toronto, because generally I like to sway with the underdogs, but at home, coming off a loss again, I don't know. I can't see another loss in Saskatchewan. So as much as I don't want it, I'm feeling that the Sask is going to pull it out.
Commissioner opposite. Come on now.
Worked well.
Maybe it works. Maybe it's
okay.
works.
We'll see how it goes. All right then. Third game, which is the early game on the Saturday. BC travels out all the way to Montreal to take on the Montreal Alouettes, and Montreal coming off a bye week. BC coming off of a absolute drubbing of the Ottawa Red Blacks.
Ottawa though.
Well, but they did still play well. Like I'll give BC that. They really did connect. I mean, we know their offense did play.
Yes.
Like
they showed up.
Correct. That was an exciting offense to watch. So I am going to go this one. I think Montreal, though, coming off of the bye week and Vernon Adams with a bit more confidence. And I know, Kayla, you had said, that post-game interview got to you. It got to me too. And I'm excited to see these guys play and just have him calm down and put up some points on the board. So TD Jake all the way, and I'll go with Montreal. Commissioner Kayla.
Yeah, I'm in the same. I mean, the Lions played a great game against Ottawa, but like you said, Mike, Ottawa. And I'm so jealous that they can return a ball for a touchdown. Can I just point that out? The jealousy
A
and
missed
the
field goal
jealousy
too?
rage was just
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
It was too much to handle. But I mean, like I said at the beginning of the year, Montreal scares me, but I like it because I love how they play. I love Vernon Adams Jr. I can't say that enough. And I'll keep saying it, but I love watching Montreal play. They're so fun. They're so gritty. And at home, coming off that bye, man, I'm so excited. Montreal, let's go.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I think
Super
BC,
fan.
as well as they did play, they are still fairly one-dimensional. The run game just isn't where their passing game is, or even close. Much as we obviously do love Shaq Cooper and what he did here. So I think coming off the bye, Montreal's had an extra week to prep for this, and they've seen lots of film at this point. So I think you got to give the advantage to the home guys for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's shake it up for our prop bet this week. Mike, do you either want to pick? Do you want to pick the prop bet, or do you want to set the line?
You can set the line. I've got three. Tell you what, I've got three to pick from. I'll give the three. Kayla can pick from that, and you set the line.
Love it.
That work?
Okay, good.
All right,
so
here we go.
What are the three options?
My choices are sacks allowed, not Saxalid, sacks allowed.
Oh my!
Against Winnipeg. To give you an idea, they have so far they currently have Winnipeg has 2.2 sacks per game average, but in the last game it's 3.5. So for that, Edmonton interceptions. We got our first last week. Can we keep it on a roll? Will we get one? It's just a yes or no at this point.
Yeah.
Or Edmonton home TDs. Will we get a touchdown?
Oh my! Okay, Kayla, which one are you picking?
Oh man!
I can't make it easy.
Holy crap!
So which one do you think we should pick from? Sacks allowed, interceptions, or touchdowns?
Because it's so far fetched, and it's so filled with hope, touchdowns. But you just don't want to hope for it. I'm picking touchdowns. The fact you started
with it's so far fetched.
I am.
I'm like, it's more far-fetched than getting...
Doesn't it, though? So, all right, then. Well, I guess we know what the line is. The line is 0.5.
Yep.
So, are we over or under on home TDs against what I consider to be the best defense in the league at this particular moment? Superfan, you get to pick first.
I'm going to be bearish on this one. I'm going to say yes. Like Brazilian Ty said last week, you got to go with the over because it's always live. You always have a chance, right? I mean, if you pick under and they score a touchdown, well, it's over. You know that.
Oh, hang on a second.
If you pick the over,
we need to clarify this: touchdowns at all or offensive touchdowns? Okay, I just want to make sure because that changes what I might pick. Yes. Okay.
Yes. No, I'm going to go with yes. I think they are going to learn more diversity in play calling and let's not be so pass happy and let's make it a little more balanced. And if that's the case, we're going to at least get a touchdown. So I say yes, we'll get one.
Okay, Commissioner.
For the sake of Military Appreciation Night, for the love of God, get a touchdown. I will go yes.
All right, and I am going to go. Wow, that's really hard.
It's pretty sad.
I can't believe that it's this hard for me to think about this.
Having a single touchdown.
Oh my. I'm going to be different. I'm going to say under.
Oh.
I say we get a defensive touchdown and it's all Sean White all day. So
not a special teams? What?
I know, right?
That's far-fetched.
Party like it's 2015. Okay.
Yeah, that's if you said special teams touchdowns, I'd have set the line at 0 and still said under. Yeah. That's the so that's we have a lot of confidence going into this game.
We do.
But I had to. Yeah, we gotta shake that up. In case you're wondering, last week the under was definitely what paid out because I said 299.5. I think Trevor finished with 220 something.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, that was not good. So that's where we end up. So now, Superfan, before we go, because this is lots of fun. You won in the CFPN Fantasy League this week.
I didn't. I won my head-to-head, yes. I didn't.
You won, yes, you won your head-to-head.
Right.
And I lost because I decided to try starting an injured guy.
Right up there with Ottawa
worked.
drafting a dead guy. Fantastic.
Yeah, I pulled an Ottawa. That's great. That's really
you never want to go full Ottawa.
No, exactly. So I lost by 5 points. Like seriously, one Shaq Cooper, 50-yard run, and we're in. But anyway, whatever. Fine. Stupid Travis. No, I'm kidding. Good for Travis. But this week,
that's fair.
The district boys take on each other. Yeah. So now this is going to be fun. We're both 3-3, and we're going to see who pulls it out this week. So no fantasy talk. Although you says I've been
well,
chatting
that's true.
about the
On
games.
the plus side, it was very helpful of you to suggest I do take the Ottawa D, which was nice.
You're welcome.
If only I could, because they are on a bye week. But
I still think, like I said, you just minus $3,200 off of your salary cap, and that part I'll let you leave the defense blank. Just assume you were taking Ottawa.
You are far too kind. But I couldn't.
You're
Brazilian
welcome.
tie.
You're welcome. That's fair. Yeah, Brazilian tie would kick us out of ever playing again.
That's right.
So we're not allowed to do that. It's gonna be fun, man.
Yep.
I'm excited to.
Hey, no matter what,
we got
TD wins.
Good games. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we're getting there. We got one guy that's going to be in second and is going to be outstanding. Yep. So this is where we're headed. It's going to be very fun. So yeah, now we're basically just playing everyone against us.
Right.
just because why not? I mean that's what makes it fun. Exactly. This episode is also brought to you by Pod Power. With Pod Power, our sponsors are making it possible for us to amplify the voices of Albertans and Alberta podcasters. This episode, Edmonton Community Foundation is helping us give a Pod Power shout out to Your Forest. Your Forest is a podcast about the natural world. Hear stories about the environment, renewable resources, conservation, forestry, hunting, fishing, and more. This is a podcast for those who cannot live without the joys and wonders of all wild things. Find Your Forest wherever you get podcasts or at yourforestpodcast.com. That's yourforestpodcast.com. Well, this was fun, guys. We found a way to get through and have a few laughs.
Cathartic.
It really was.
Let's go with that.
Those are fun words. All these English words that we're pulling out this evening.
It's hard.
Commissioner, where does everybody find you to follow and chat with you on the social medias?
On the one social media platform of Twitter at Duchess Lombardi.
Perfect. And Superfan Mike?
They can find me pretty much on most platforms, but I'll even respond on Twitter. So
nice.
At 56 Parkies, and then the history segment, and we'll get some pictures of the Horde items at Edmonton History. That's EDMHISTOREE.
That's lovely. I love how you need to put that into a song. Like it sounds it sounds
Yeah.
like the old Patreon
T-shirt
thing that we used to do. Like that really does. It's very fun. At some point. Yeah, not anytime soon, because nobody wants to actually see me sing it on top of hear me sing it. We're not that. Of course, make sure you are following Pay It Forward with Football. I do want to show you. I got one of these fancy things right there. And
that's awesome.
A message.
Nice.
Great to see them.
I got to hang out with Quentin a little bit yesterday, and he picked up a pod shirt, and I picked up a bracelet from him. And the one thing I will say about those people, I mean, they're amazing people, but they actually live by what the words on this bracelet of spread kindness, and I think we need more of that in our world right now, so I'm happy to have that.
Yep.
Follow them along for sure. Of course, there's lots of great shows coming out from the CFPN. You can find those at Canadian Football or cfpodnetwork.ca. I don't know why I wanted to stretch that out, but CFPodNetwork on .ca. And of course, make sure you check out all the great shows on the Alberta Podcast Network, including our good friends at the 2 and Out CFL podcast who had me on this week. And you can find those at albertapodcastnetwork.com. There you go. A little more fun.
There it
Shake
is.
up. Actually, Travis even set me up to do the .com on his too. It was outstanding. It made me laugh. And of course,
Nice.
you can join in the huddle with us at the Turf District. That's on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We of course will be back next week. We will be back to talk.
We'll show up. Let's hope the team
That's
does.
the perfect answer. I don't even have any more to add to that. We'll make sure we're here for some more laughs and some more chat on Twitter and YouTube. So make sure you join us next week. So for Commissioner Kayla and Superfan Mike, I'm Andrew. Remember, you can't catch footballs with your face, and we will absolutely talk to you next week.